So welcome to Let's Talk Cars. It's our Wednesday show, and we've got our ambassador from Active Digital here, Steve Backley.
Great to be here, Rich.
And I wanted to talk through the new driving laws and electric vehicles, and I needed you to bounce off some of these questions I'm going to give you and some of the updates. I'm not 100% convinced by them, but also it'd be good to have your feedback.
Some strange stuff going on. You wonder what's really going on behind it, or sort of looking behind some of these new laws, right?
Yeah, so the first one is if an emergency vehicle is behind you, you can't go outside the existing traffic laws. So that would mean if you went into a bus lane, potentially you would have £1,000 fine because they're on cameras, most bus lanes now. You can't go through a red light.
You think about that though, from a practical point of view, your immediate reaction, you see the blue lights.
I get out of the way.
Straight away.
Yeah,
it's almost instinctive, isn't it, to say, blue lights. Yeah. You probably think they're coming to get you, right?
Well, I try and get out and run on.
But I mean, in front of you, behind you, to the side of you.
You can't go up the pavement now. So that's quite. So I've done that quite a few times, just because if you imagine, we're near Tunbridge Wells, it's quite tight, and my first instinct is to get them past me as soon as I can.
So is the suggestion that it's taking away common sense? Because that's what I'm hearing. Because if it's common sense, if it's safe to do so, to help someone, you would do it, right?
You would think if you were in a car for me and that's behind me, I'm thinking I've already looked at the pavement.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just crash into someone.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's because of cyclists, they may be coming along. Do the emergency vehicles then go down the bus lane? Because if we go in it, does that then block it? Yeah. So are we making it worse for them?
Well, I suppose it's part of control, isn't it? The more and more, we're being controlled in every day, and it's away from driving, isn't it? Everything we do is being controlled, and leaving things to people's discretion is just being taken away. And I suppose it leads towards driverless cars potentially. Is that where it's all heading? Is that part of the reason, do you think?
Well, I think that the reason for driverless cars is they obviously believe that it would be safer, but you've got to have everyone on board. Yeah. You can't have 80% driverless and 20% not. But the other thing is that I still can't get my head round if I said to you now, we're in Tunbridge Wells, we're on single lane roads, and it's chocker like it is at pick-up time at the school, are you saying we just stay there? Yeah. And that ambulance just is stuck?
It's stuck.
When you look at the report saying that 5 minutes to them can be absolutely vital to a patient's recovery. So I'm not convinced. I mean, if we look at the other rule about horses, 2 meters, how do I do that on the roads I go on? What do I drive in the farmer's field and go round?
You mean on a small lane?
Yeah, well, you can't. Most of them, I don't meet them on dual carriageways. The horse rider you meet on a single lane track, don't you? And you go, right, there's the horse, and you go, right, so my rolls is 2.2 meters. Yeah. I've got and the road is 4 meters.
So you end up sitting behind. Well, and that's the same for the cyclists, right? Which it's already moved to 2 meters earlier this year, right? So that's to coincide with that, I presume. But like you say, that if you've got 2 meters plus the width of your car, that's a wide road. So you're going to wait. You just wait.
Yeah.
You're going at the speed of a horse.
Yeah. But I think, it's like you said about, it's just everyone being sensible, isn't it? If you go past them, I go past them really slow. Yeah. I mean, the only thing I find sometimes, they don't even hear me when you got electric mode on. Yeah. They don't hear us come up. So does that frighten the horse? Because they see a big car there.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think, I lived on a lane up there until last year where there's probably more horses than cars actually.
Right, okay.
And you could sit the whole length of the road sometimes because, partly not hear you, but just a sense of, you'd be squeezing past, whether that's safe to do so. But there's for whatever reason, not criticising it, but for whatever reason, there will be a you can wait sort of approach to it. But it's 2 miles long and you're walking pace.
Okay, yeah. So you are, yeah. So
what's that? 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes?
To get past. And everyone most of the time's in a rush, they're trying to get round. But I think that these laws are going to affect people and they are going to get some big fines. When you're looking at if you do go in that bus lane, it could be £1,000, a huge amount of money for people.
And everything's recorded now, Rich. So if we go,
no, that's what I said. Every bus lane, it's going to take your plate.
But also, I mean, there was a case recently with there's an elderly driver too close to a cyclist. The cyclist had their head cam on, and they retrospectively penalised to the tune of, I think, about £1,200 the driver for being too close to the cyclist because of the head cam was enough evidence to, there's
cameras everywhere now, isn't there?
Yeah, cameras everywhere. Yeah.
So the other thing they've done is some more fines on snow, ice, windscreens, number plates being dirty, that type of thing, instant sort of £60 fines.
Wow,
really? But, the other thing I have found with electric cars, it's very difficult to almost de-ice and warm up your car, which we found because it's an electric car. It's not like the old days you put on the car and it warms up a lot quicker with the electric motor because you lose a lot of range.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you want to use that heater, it could be 30, 40 miles of range you lose.
Yeah.
Other updates, we've got parking correctly and facing the direction of traffic or a fine.
Oh, yeah, that's a tricky one. Because we've all done that, haven't we? We've looked down the road, seen a space.
So you're going to have to go back.
Past
you
it.
then might lose lose the space. So that's quite a big one, and that will be a fine again. I'm not sure. I haven't got the amount of that. They just said that it's, again, if that's going to be in towns, that will probably be on a camera somewhere and picked up.
Yeah.
Using the horn without it being an emergency situation, £30. Right. But how do you enforce that?
How do you police that, really?
I don't know.
That's so just to clarify that, so you can only use it.
Say someone was in the road or jumping out, you can hit the horn. But if you're going, right, John, you can't.
Or out of anger, presumably.
Or out of anger, that type of thing. You can't just use the horn.
We know a few people are going to be in trouble with that, don't we?
A lot of people, a lot of our friends. But this is the big one, and this is going to be quite interesting. So, splashing a pedestrian, £5,000 or 6 to 9 points.
Talking about a puddle, like driving through a puddle intentionally to wet somebody, or not intentionally.
Because I've been there where you've got a puddle and the car's coming down, you can't go round it. Yeah. So they're saying 5,000, 6 to 9 points on your licence. So that is a big one.
Again, difficult to police. I mean,
again, you're like you said, you're down to cameras at a bus stop, someone picking you up on that. Yeah. But that's a big fine. Big fine.
Yeah.
Oh, the next big one I've got, and I think this is sort of, when I was looking at all the information on this, it was sort of quite low key, but I think it's one of the biggest ones. Local councils administering speed fines.
Okay, that's interesting.
So also they have the ability to make low emission zones in their villages and towns.
Yeah.
So that could, one, I don't think that's a bad thing with the emission thing, but they will have more control. So it's going away from the main Department of Transport. This is going to council. So what I do see a lot is when you get something through the post to say you were in whatever village and you were going over the limit, but we're just giving you a friendly fire really to say slow down, you're doing 36 in a 30. But now they're saying that they could just implement you with a fine.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose the immediate thought is there that the reason for that is for safety, right? I mean, that's and you'd like to think that speed traps are put in places where
things have happened,
schools. Yeah, there's a genuine. Yeah. But if it's out to catch people, just to catch people, if that's the motive to make money, which potentially, I'm not saying it is, then there's a different motive there, and that's
Well, I've had some come through where it says, look, you've been doing 36 in a 30 in this village, but it's like a slap on the wrist, really. And you do remember that going back through. Yeah. But sometimes you can be caught, like if you're going around they could be how they position themselves to take that reading. And like you say, it could be quite a lot of money because they're going to catch a huge amount of people.
Yeah, depending on the tolerance. I mean, my recent one was in London. It really caught me out because it was 20. Right. And it was 2 lanes going to one. So I had to punch around a taxi that was doing 20. And I literally just punched forward and flash. Because the trap was on the, when it went to 2 to 1 lanes. And I was oblivious to the fact, I think it was the only time I've ever driven in a 20, but to be enforced at 20, But that's the way it'll go. And you know,
well, my car brakes for me in
Right.
that Audi. So I think that where you've got speed limits, you have got. I mean, I've had 2 speeding convictions that I've got to do the courses on recently, but they're all in the electric and hybrid one.
yeah.
So because it's like, you know, 48 in a 40, but the cars, I find in an electric car, you don't really realise the speed,
Right.
Because there's no noise.
Yeah, there's no noise.
There's no noise. It's not like you got hardly even any tyre noise. So are we at the point where if my car, which it has, I mean, I've been out and it just brakes for me.
Yeah.
You know, but then they've got sensors on the front because the car is probably more intelligent than me at braking. It's going to be faster, it has to be, because I'm not sitting in there like I'm in a race sim. I'm driving and I've got someone in the back going, "You got any food? You got any?" You're not as alert as you could be. But if I've got that type of facility on my car,
And it's another step towards driverless. But you were telling me just this morning that GPS to the nearest meter, so it knows what's around the corner.
yeah, well, in the rolls, it's dictating what gears and that you're in by the road, which I'm going to do a video on soon again of all the features on that.
So
but driverless will be thinking ahead of you.
It's a step ahead of you, so it's preempting braking, whereas you're doing it reactive, aren't you? You're just braking reactive. I suppose there'll come a point where you'll program your car, probably from your phone, to say these are the rules under which I'll drive.
Apple or Google Maps.
Yeah.
Because when I get in my car, it says you're going to be 15 minutes. I think, hold on, you don't know where I'm going yet. But it does, doesn't it? It comes up. It says there's no traffic. There's 15. It knows where everything is.
It knows your habits.
Of where you roughly
where you're
go
likely to be going at a certain time. Yeah, which is a bit scary in itself, isn't it?
I know. I want to just drive through McDonald's. But the next one, and to wrap this up, I've had an electric car, gone back to hybrid. You've had some experience with electric cars in your family.
Yeah, and we've had an electric car for around 8 months, 9 months now. And it's got a fairly short range, it's a 100-mile range.
That's pretty low, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty.
So it's a small electric,
it's a local car, but then if the odd occasion where you want to take a longer trip, even a 50-mile each way trip, like so you're right on the limit if you're out and back range. You're thinking hard, right? Then you get a little detour or something, there's a road closed, or as you said earlier, you've got the heater on or you've got the radio on, and all of a sudden you've got this stress thing going on.
Where anxiety.
Where you're thinking, this is close. Then you've got to find somewhere that's available, first of all, that's working secondary, and you know, both of those have caught us out. And it just...
So how many times have you run out totally?
Probably 3 times.
Really?
Get to turtle mode a lot. It goes to turtle mode. 5 miles to go, and actually turtles start flashing up on the screen. And you can't drive more than, I think it's about 15 miles an hour.
That's what happened to me. Yeah.
So it slowed right down and controlled us. And it's stressful, and you can't just...
So you've sold that now?
It's gone. Yeah.
So what did you go to?
I'd gone to a little 2-seater sports car. It's both Mazdas, it's my partner's car, Jackie's. So she used to work for Mazda, so she stayed in that vehicle.
And how does she feel now? No hassle.
Yeah, it's you know, it's completely gone. It's completely gone. It's a step, but then that's a little bit of a step back, as sort of a bit of nostalgia in a little 2-seater petrol engine.
And this is why, like, you know, properties now. So I see the government have taken off any more grants for electric cars, and they're pushing it all to charging points.
Yeah.
And I know you're doing quite a bit with your stuff on property.
Yeah, and look, it's inevitable. It's just it's the transition from where we were to where we're going, which we're clearly in the middle of. And it's like, when are we going to be ready to all take the leap to say, right, that can be your exclusive car that you use on a day-to-day basis and rely on it. And like, the other one, stop charging. That was the other one we had.
Yeah, I've had that.
Just wake up in the morning and go, and it's plugged in.
I had that last week.
Did you?
And I was really, I had that quite a lot. And I don't know if it's maybe a power outage at night on my home, but I've been out there and it's zero. Now I've got a hybrid now. But that's a pain, because I think, I want to use those 35 mile, I'll charge it later. And I just go to the socket, turn it on and off, and it kicks back in. So some things, there's been an outage and it hasn't charged.
But until those, teething, whatever you want to call them, but those kinks are ironed out, it's, because one thing in the car, it has to be reliable, doesn't it? Really, if it's your getting to and from work, or I do a lot of the speaking stuff. So I travel to events. They're going to wait for you. It's not like turn up, you turn up. So that brings us stress, and we don't need more stress in our lives, do we?
I think that the car needs to charge in under half an hour. To full capacity. And I think really you need over 300 miles maybe. I mean, Tesla have now opened their supercharging network to normal cars. That's a massive plus for owners, but still, I just feel there's anxiety there because of the way the range drops off. You have no control. It's like if you said it's a very hot day today. I mean, I never had it over 1 on the fan and 19 in that car, because if I did, it just went 80, 60, and then like you say, you get a call and you go, oh, you got to go over here now and do. You're like,
can't.
Well, you can't, and it just seems bananas. You're like, what?
It takes spontaneity out of your life as well. You have to plan everything and stick to the plan.
Exactly, and if you deviate,
people don't necessarily like living like that, do they? And I think that's I
must say I like the driver experience of an electric car 100%. I think it's when you're at junctions and that, it's
instant
a better
power.
experience. Instant power. There's no hassle. It's not like you're waiting for a gear and you've got all stop-start technology, and I feel much safer. I think that it's definitely the future. It's just in the charging. But if you look at old phones, used to take a day. I mean, old phones I'm talking about, but now you could charge your phone in 20 minutes with a fast charge. That's where it needs to be. So I think we're a little way off.
Or some sort of a backup on the go, like an emergency go-to short range.
I like the i3. I spoke about that car being the best car for young people to get in. So if you're in that range of buying them a car, and that's 18 to 30, the i3, it come out with 160 mile electric, but it had a 100-mile petrol tank, 9 litres. So it gave you 260, but you've got the petrol backup. And it's only 9 litres of it. But it's enough.
That's perfect.
And that car's £15,000. That's the next one. That car's going to go back up because it's all carbon fibre. But I think that's the best way. If my car done... So there's a new Range Rover coming out that I'm going to review soon. It does 75 miles electric and has got the petrol backup. Most of my stuff, I reckon, is 70 miles. So the car I'm looking at is the new Q5 next year. Is 75 miles electric and hybrid. To me, that's
how
I'd rather be.
9 times out of 10, it covers your daily trip.
Exactly. If I have a longer journey, or we want to go down to Devon, Wales, like we do, I can take it. But at the moment, there is no way I would travel to Devon. No way.
Can't
Well, I can't.
You get
where we go. But there's no. You're gonna have to ask someone's home. Can I borrow your 3-pin plug and charge up? Which isn't gonna work. So that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed that. There's a lot of stuff there. And we keep up to date on the channel with more changes. But really enjoyed that, Steve.
It's fun.
No, I really enjoyed that.
Really enjoyed that.
And next time we'll do some times for you. I know you want to try and beat Dean on the sim. Which
I'd love to beat Dean. That would make my year if I beat Dean Macy on the sim. There you go.
So I'll give you a bit of training and you can beat it.
That's a deal.
Okay, thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Rich.
That's a wrap. See you soon. Thanks. Bye.